This podcast is brought to you by Sci-Fi, the world leader in psychology fitness training. Sci-Fi is scientifically proven to help you optimize your physical, mental, and emotional performance through functional training of your brain, body, and breath. For the first time, have your own clinical psychologist, personal trainer, life coach, breathwork teacher, and mediation instructor all in one. Instead of having to wait months or even years for results, you get them in 75 minutes or less. That's the Sci-Fi difference. Rewire your brain, retrain your body, and refocus your breath. Learn more at psyfi.nyc.
It's been said, you, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit to keep moving forward. That's what Life's Tough, Boxers Are Tougher is all about. I'm your host, Matthew Pomara, and we explore a mountainous challenge that someone in the boxing industry has had to face. In the guest corner, he comes to us with an impressive record of 26 wins against only one defeat, with 22 big wins by knockout. He's the fighting pride of Shirley, Long Island, New York. He's also the Funko Pop star. Please welcome the current NABA Super Lightweight Champion, Cletus, the Hebrew Hammer Seldin.
The crowd goes wild. Ranked 8th in the world by WBA and 14 by the other one, IBF. Yeah.
Nice.
Not
What's
bad.
up, champ? It's
Not
good
bad.
to see you, buddy.
Not bad for a Jewish white kid from Long Island. Like, what's going on, guys? I'm the last of us. I'm the last of the kind. Man, I've just been enjoying myself. Even in this cold weather, I've been waking up every day, running through it. I liked it because nobody else is on the road. All of a sudden, get a little warm. I see one or two people, I just be like, you fake. Yeah, you fake. You fake old man. You fake old lady. Like, you walking your dog now. Where were you when it was yesterday when it was 19?
Yeah, exactly. You're out there grinding it out. Everything else good? You got any big fights? Anything coming up on the horizon?
Nothing is confirmed, but I'm gonna head to Florida in about a week or so. Go train down with Pete Brodsky, my original trainer. Work everything out with him, and then I'm looking for a June date. My last date was in October of last year at the Barclays Center. So I am excited to see where it takes place from there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, definitely doing great. Got that awesome, one punch change the fight power. So it's always,
And I'm always in shape.
always looking good, always in shape. We always say life's tough, but boxers are tougher. Tell us why you're tougher than life.
Um, but the reason I think it's because I love boxing. Because out of all the sports I played, because I was a three-sport athlete, it was the only sport where you can actually show the type of character that you really are. And being from somebody, I got ADHD. I'm not really good at reading. I was in the bad classes. I was the only white kid in the classes, and it was a behavior class. And it was basically a way for you to get out of that torrential downfall that is set up for you for your entire life. So for me, boxing has been that escape from the rest of the world, going into the boxing gym every single day and just being like, all right, life might not be good out here, but inside I can be a whole different person, become a superhero. And because I was able to do that and have that dream of always becoming an athlete, because I always played sports, I just never gave up on it, and I just kept my eyes focused every single day. And it's not like when you amateur, you get paid, and all of a sudden it comes into your hands. That doesn't happen. If even as a professional, I fought all these fights. You'd think I got all this. I'm renting out an apartment because that's the way boxing is. Boxing's meant for tough individuals. That's why you don't see a lot of people stay in it for the too long. And I always think of boxing like football. Like you get a quarterback, maybe drafted later or earlier. You kind of want to sit him on the bench a little bit, try him out a little bit, test him a little bit, and then you put him in to start. And by the time these kids get to start, they don't want to do it. And then you added some injuries in it. I've been injured 5 times. I know many fighters, athletes get injured once or twice. They call it up. something inside me just keeps saying, nope, it ain't time to give it up yet. You just keep digging in and just finding that peace. I think I'm finding now in the life of boxing, because the toughness thing was never really an option for me, because I was just born with it, coming from a one of the poorest towns from Long Island is Shirley, New York. Blue collared. Your mom's a home health aide. My dad's a tow truck man, and they just didn't have time to take care of the kids, but they were in there working hard, and that kind of wore off on me and my brother and my sister, to where my brother became a doctor. My sister does great, going to school still, and just that never giving up mentality has always been. It's been it. I've lost a fight. I didn't give. Everyone's like, "Oh, you give up?" Nah, I ain't give up. I just love it. I just love the toughness. I love the grind. Uh, you know me. I ran 50 miles. Ran 35 miles.
Talk,
It's
talk,
that.
talk a little about the 50-mile run, because I think that's really one of the most impressive things I've ever heard.
So 2020, going through COVID, I was living in with my girlfriend at the time, and all of a sudden she says we're done. We break up. My uncle, my only uncle, he gets brain cancer. There's no boxing going on. I was getting a lawsuit from another fighter, and I was about to move home to my parents. And I was like, wow, this is like the low of the low. And then next thing you know, the Ramsey Realtors put me into a little house here. And even though I had a bed and everything, I slept on the floor every day. And my birthday was coming up. So I was like, all right, last year I ran 33 miles. What can I do the next time? And it's coming up. I was like, all right, I'll just run 34 miles. I'll fast for 4 days and I'll run 34 miles as my goal. And because I already ran 33, which is 34, right? So I was like, all right, on my way home, I had my buddy drop my car off at my parents' house, because I can just run from here today every 34 miles. And I was like, what is 50? Do you think 50 sounds better? He's like, yeah, 50 miles sounds better. And I was like, okay. And I didn't eat no food for 4 days. And I remember waking up, and I took the train basically all the way to JFK Airport, and I pushed the button to go. I ran about 100 yards, and I said, wow, we in for a journey today. And I took all that pain and that suffering that I had inside me, and was able to deliver it to where at the end of it, I was able to find what I was looking for. It didn't last too long what I found, but I remember finding it, and it was at peace. That was the same. It was my birthday that day. As soon as I was finished my run, I went to the restaurant by myself, ordered myself a tomahawk steak, an insignia, my favorite steak. I had birthday with myself, and that was it. And since then, my life has totally changed. Moving in with my girlfriend, who's just got promoted to a new position, and living with a great family. I got somewhat of a mother now, the Ramseys, little brothers and stuff. So these people have helped me out tremendously, and I'm grateful everything that they were willing to sacrifice for me, and I know I helped them with their boys. So I'm doing pretty good.
When you think about the challenges that you have had to overcome, injuries, I know injuries, you got bit by the injury bug a couple times. How come you didn't quit? Like, why didn't you quit? You said you're tough, and I believe that, because I've seen you fight, I've seen you work out. But talk about what was going through your mind, because that was definitely, I know those are a couple of trying injuries, and you've had some great momentum in your career slowed down by injuries.
Yeah, I've fought on, I think it was like NBC Sports, knocks the guy out, goes for first shoulder surgery. Um, then the next fight, my hand goes 6 months later. Left shoulder went, but I kept winning each fight. So I was like, okay, it's tough. And then I went and I fought Ulysses in Canada, and I got my elbow messed up, and I lost it. And it turns out I was the first fighter in history to get Tommy John surgery. I said, all right, this is the last one. I made an announcement. I remember being at one of those Ring 10 meetings. Said this is my last fight. And then I fight Zab Judah, and I beat him, and I tear my shoulder. 6 months out. Then I fight in February of 2020, and there's COVID. And then that shit, and then I get COVID again. I get COVID myself, and I go fight in October of this year. And in February I get COVID again. That's crazy, right? But to me, as a kid, I remember being a kid. I always wanted to be a professional athlete, and in my eyes, I always, seen these athletes they get injured. So in my head, there was never a second thought that was like, oh, if I get injured again, that's it. I was always like, oh, this is what professional athletes go through. It actually is not true in the sport of boxing. And I think it became more back then like of a challenge because if you ever see me get in shape for a fight, I can do 100 push-ups like it's nothing. A month later, you get a surgery. You can't even you can't push yourself off the floor doing one push-up, and then you just put that mind and set in your head and just changed everything. Like, and then you'd make it a little project, and I don't know what it is. If I'm got a project, I'm on to something. There's no stopping me. I've played Madden. I'm a big Madden player. I started playing in October again. I'm ranked 3,000 in the world. I used to be ranked 1,000 every year. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play some Madden. I put that game on, ranked 3,000 in the world. Just whatever I put my head to something, I just want to do my best. And that was a big thing I learned from Ed Gersh, my former manager, $500 million man, everything he ever wanted. When he came, saw me box one day, and I was going to school. He's like, "You want to box? Or you want to go to school?" So you can only do one because if you do something else, you never give it 100%. You never you never succeed in anything. I said, "How are we boxing? Quit school? We went boxing."
Where were you going to school?
I was going to a great school called Suffolk Community College. High class.
Long Island. Hey, listen, my mom graduated from there. It's a Long Island institution.
I'm so like low key with the school that I didn't even go to like Suffolk Community College and like Seldin. I went to the one in Brentwood. I was like, this is the best I can do, and my personality usually gets me away with everything.
If you're comfortable about it, talk about your mental health and some
Yeah.
about the battle.
So I screw up with ADHD. My dad, no, my son ain't taking no medication and everything. So I was just a wild kid, just destroying everything and just the parent that I go to school. I remember being like 6th grade. Guidance counselor calls home. Don't let that kid come into school anymore. Gatorade in the morning. The classes, I would just sit there. I'm not learning anything. I just show up every day, and I showed up every day because this is the teachers be like, why you show up every day? I'm like, well, I get free lunch or free breakfast. 10975 was my card number. Can I tell them? Because I never actually bring the card because I probably lost it or just hoarded it away. And 10975, and I just like get my muffin or whatever I was eating every time. And that's why I went to school every day. That and to play sports. I was lucky enough to find myself into athletics where a lot of teachers vouched for me from 7th grade on to allow me, and then I found myself into that program. It's called the Option 2 program, where the behavior kids go, and it was just showing up and just these teachers knew that the kids in this class they are gonna have a tough time once high school is over, and if they don't get a high school diploma, they're gonna be so far behind. So they helped us literally give us answers on tests to make sure we can do it. And then I found myself always wanted to actually achieve like school stuff and be a little normal. So I decided to go to a doctor and bring all the paperwork I had from school to help me with my uh, learning problem. And it said I had ADHD, and I had a paper that said I was emotionally disturbed because of the environment I grew up in from my parents. It was not a very good place to be, and it's not too many people get that paper, but I got that bad boy, and I still
I,
go.
I love that. I love the way you talk about it. I love the way you don't stigmatize it. You own it. And
Yeah,
like, but I just even chuckled a little bit the way you said it, just because. And again, it's a serious subject, so I know
I own that paper. If they look at the bottom of my foot, I'm stamped. I'm stamped. This kid got mental illness. But I found if I went and I went to the right psychiatrist, because I was prescribed this Adderall, which I really didn't like it because it was only like 6 hours, and then you get extremely depressed. But I found this stuff called Vyvanse by going to a medical place in Wyandanch. You know, I love being part of those areas. Wyandanch and this Haitian lady, still my psychiatrist for all these years, 15 years now, and she told me the Vyvanse. It's for ADHD for adults, and it changed my life forever. I went from being motivated one day to dropping off uh, to not just waking up and I'll play just video games for 10 hours every day and do nothing and super depressed. I still get a little bit depressed these days, but not as much as I used to. The like mental thing is just it's everything, and it's always in boxing too. Obviously, it's more in all sports and in life, right? You wake up, you exhausted, but it's your first day at a new job. It don't matter how tired you are. You're gonna go do it, or whatever your mindset is. And for me, over the years, without that medication, man, that's gonna be a rough life for anybody to have to deal with me on a daily basis.
talk about tell us about how has the medication wreaked havoc on your career? Because I know you've had some problems that you've had to deal with because of the medication, which is
So,
all legitimate and legitimately prescribed, I might add.
so I started taking my medication way before I started my boxing career, and I think I just started like amateur boxing as like, I'm 22 years old, let me try boxing kind of thing. And I really wanted to go to school and I really wanted to focus on myself. But then it turns out all of a sudden I start fighting for these belts that my medication's actually banned. And I was like, so I have a prescription, and the process to be able to fight with my medication has been a long process even in the courtrooms to dealing with uh, officials, New York State's athletic commissions. You just win a fight sitting at home. I remember sitting at home. I just won my WBC International Silver Championship, and Cletus Seldin. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "You suspended, and your fight's canceled, and you forfeit." I said, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Excuse me." That's I have all the paperwork. I've been writing it down for years since day one I started in the sport. I always checked that I was taking the medication. They all said you okay, and that was David Berlin, who's now my attorney. So it kind of worked out. But even still today, from anywhere I went, for some reason, someone always tries to find that as an excuse for losing a fight for me or trying to say that's a reason why. But honestly, I tell people all the time, I take my medication, I'm dead. Like I'll probably kill myself. That's how I am because I just don't know how to act like a normal person. And the greatest thing is I found a girl that understands me. She goes, "Oh, it's nighttime. The sun goes down. When the suns go down, a little crazy, and then when the sun just come up, he's a little crazy. There's that medium where I'm the perfect person, but besides that, it's crazy."
Um, Talk to us a little bit about when you first went into the boxing gym and how that like really helped.
Yeah, so I was a three-sport athlete. We won a Long Island championship in football, state champ wrestler, love lacrosse, and I was always part of winning teams. We always won. Wherever we did, we won. I did bodybuilding. I took fifth place in the Eastern USA's. I trained for couple months or whatever, a month or so. And then I go to the boxing gym. It's in Mastic, Shirley. This isn't Shirley like where I'm from. I go to Longwood High School. These kids, William Floyd, Mastic Shirley. You want to look up someone tough? Mastic Beach, Mastic Shirley. You look up that place. Whew, man, that's tough. And this gym was there, ran by Mike Murphy, Atlantic Boxing Club, where it paid $175 1 year membership. The thing was, when you get in the ring, day one, the old school mentality was, all right, put him in the ring, let him spar. And oh my God, I got my butt kicked, pillar to post. I think I kicked somebody, and they just want to use you a punching bag. And I remember sitting in my car afterwards, like, man, that sucked. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let me figure this out. I'm going to go home. I'm going to order some stuff off this website called TitleBoxing.com. I'm going to watch some videos so I can wrap my hands, and I'm going to go back because I got the 1 year membership. I'm Jewish. I don't want to waste it. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go try it again. Because at this gym that's in Mastic Beach, Shirley, these guys use the same headgears, same glove. I seen a kid, there was a bar, like a little jar full of mouthpieces. Kids were going in there, grabbing a mouthpiece. Just random mouthpieces. It was the craziest thing. I said, I'm never drinking out of the water in the Mastic. I said, this is crazy. I said, I got my own gear. I came back, and for 1 year, I took a beating every single day from these guys. But while I was taking that beating, I remembered this. I started boxing at 22. These kids started boxing when they're younger, 8, 9 years old. By the time they got a little bit older, they didn't want to come to the gym as much. So they come 2 to 3 days a week. I said, all right, I'll come 5 days and then 7 days. And then I do my run in the morning and do my boxing at night. And it was that's when I found out not only did I have a good right hand, but I can out condition everybody. So within that 1 year, all those guys have beat the piss out of me. Pros, amateurs. This is one of the top 10 schools in the country at the time.
Yeah.
You got Adam Willett, Leon Green. You got these guys, Nan Tabunji. These guys are beating the piss out of you. And
Joe came out of there too. Joe Smith.
Joe Smith came out of there. All these guys, if you looked at amateurs, Adam Willett is one of the best amateurs I ever seen. He won every goddamn title. And I seen that with 1 year, I started beating those guys. I remember I knocked down Leon Green, and I was like, all right, I could take this somewhere else. I thought just like an amateur thing was my game, but then I realized I don't fight like an amateur.
Yeah, you got a great pro style.
Went to the professionals, and then I found out. And this is nothing. I took what I learned from sports as a high school person. All right, so when you are a senior in high school or in high school, you want to put together like a highlight reel of tapes. You want to go out there, try to branch out a bunch of people. So I would just start hitting up people. Ludabella. I was hitting up Big George. I was at gyms just asking people. And next thing you know, Steven Damiani, who used to work with Pete Brodsky, sees me talking to Big George, and he's like, "Hold on, I got a guy for you. He's gonna
Big
call
George,
you."
that Big George Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love George. Great guy.
So they were like, "Stay away from him."
He's a
Next
great
thing you
guy.
know, Pete Brodsky calls me up and sends me down to Florida, and that's where it all started taking place. But the whole mentality was what I learned from one always be an athlete, and then putting it all together, getting a highlight reel, and going out there trying to scout yourself. Nobody writes this stuff for boxers. Like there's a blueprint. Every boxing gym is totally different. Everybody's training philosophy is all different. The recruiting, they base it off of the amateurs. I got 30 fights. Who the hell is going to look at me? And if you're not getting the proper coaching, proper training, you're just eventually just going to fall down. Good thing for me was I'm a good athlete. I'll listen to anything you say. You say do that, I'll do it. I'll try it. If it looks stupid, I'm going to tell you, but I'll try it.
Awesome. Well, listen, obviously you're tougher than life, right? Overcame mental illness, overcame a series of injuries, and you're still in the ring, and you're a force to be reckoned with. I'm grateful to have you.
You watch me fight. You know how tough I am.
I've seen it. Oh yeah, and you know what though? One thing I don't I think it's underestimated is you watch you fight, you're getting your money's worth. Like you're not getting nobody's getting cheated. You're getting your
Yeah,
money's worth.
that was always the thing. Building my career, especially to Paramount, was if I get one guy to come, I can get him to bring two or three more people next time. So when I go fight, I try to sell as many tickets as I could because my first fight, $800. You ain't doing this for boxing for money. You doing this
No.
for your pride and whatever you want and what you're in search of. And man, people, you ask anybody about the Hebrew Hammer, oh, he's tough as nails and he hits like a motherflocker.
Unbelievable. All right, so we have a point of the show. I think you're clearly proving you're tougher than life. We got a point of the show now. We call it the Fast Five. We ask you 5 questions. Just give us just your quick answer. All right.
All right.
Okay. I know you're a superhero guy. Is Superman an actual superhero, or he's just an alien posing as a superhero?
I don't call him a superhero because that's what we live among. You never know who's out there.
All right. All right. So you're going yes. So yes on that.
Absolutely.
All right. If your bar mitzvah was today, what would your theme be?
Dallas Cowboys, baby.
Dallas Cowboys. What
Not the
table are you sitting
Steelers.
on? Are you sitting at the Roger Staubach table, or are you sitting at?
I'm sitting with Emmett, Irvin, and Dion. Leon Lett. We just sit with big boys.
All right. Could you beat Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather in a foot race?
I could 100% beat Conor McGregor in a foot race. He broke his damn foot.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. I forgot about that. All right. Venue, past or present, that you wish you could fight in?
Two of them, AT&T Stadium where Dallas Cowboys play, and either Tel Aviv or a place in Israel.
Ah, that's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a great one.
That's
All right. I
when
mean,
I finished my career.
this is a bonus question because we're going to ask you one more too. But this is the bonus question on the fast food. So, if it was a triple threat death match, your mustache versus your mullet versus your purple hair, who wins
Oh,
and why?
the mullet is flowing. You know what? The effort that had to get put in for a mullet these days is so much more than just having purple hair. The mustache thing used to be a fun thing too, but honestly, it's that mullet. I love this thing. I know I got the headphones on, but it's groovy, baby.
All right. Tell us a clean joke.
Two nuts were walking down the street. One was assaulted.
Well done, my friend. Well done. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Life of Cletus on Instagram. On YouTube, it's half gladiator, half geek. I'm a big toy collector, and I got an Instagram like that too. So if you want to see like outside of what I do normally, and like, wow, that guy has a great hobby, I definitely want to do what he's doing. Check it out.
Before we jump, tell us how many Funko Pops you have.
I at one point had like $125,000 Funko Pop collection. I'm at the point where I only own like 200 now, but it's
Okay.
like $50,000 value. It's just big game, man. I love that. Star Wars, Marvel, you name it, I love it. I get it. Go to the cons. Whew. I got a YouTube channel, 20,000 subs based off of just my collecting. Not even boxing.
That's awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough. Always great to see you, buddy, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back in the ring.
Thank you for having me.
That's going to be the final bell for today's podcast. If you like what you hear, give us a like and hit the subscribe button with your best power punch. You can check us out at Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you can find quality podcasts. We hope our stories inspire you to fight on. We thank you for listening, and remember, life's tough, boxers are tougher. Have a great week, everyone.